So in today's video, I'm going to be previewing Mansfield Town versus Bradford City, and then in the second part of today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my Game Week 6 League 2 score predictions. If you do go on to enjoy, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 80 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get a comment as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know your starting 11 for this game and what is your score prediction as well. It's going to be a very, very tough game. I've always rated Mansfield very highly over the last couple of seasons, and their recruitment in the summer has certainly increased that. Again, I've backed them to get automatically promoted this season. I think Nigel Clough's a very good manager. They've got a very, very good squad. Davies Keeler-Dunn's been on fire so far this season. Defensively, they look very strong. They've got a lot of very good creative midfielders on going forward. Their strikers score a lot of goals, so it's going to be a very tough test. Despite us actually doing quite well at Field Mill over the last couple of seasons. Last year winning 2-1, the season before winning 3-2, with Andy Cook scoring a last-minute winner there, but I'm just not that confident going into it. I think they've won every game at home so far this season. Our away form so far this season has been poor. I think we've lost every league away game apart from one which we drew against Stockport. I'd bite your hand off for a point as of right now. Do I think we'll get that? I'm not so sure. We've got a number of injuries as well as the Mansfield, so make sure to drop a like on there for me. Subscribe if you are new as well, and let's get into it. Channel memberships are now cheaper than ever, with Tier 1 costing just 99p. Tier 2 has been reduced from $3.99 a month down to $1.99 a month, and Tier 3 has been reduced from $8.99 a month down to just $4.99 a month. Your support, as always, is massively appreciated, and the more members that we have, the better the content will be. Enjoy the rest of the video. If we start out then with the current Sky Bet League 2 table, my team Bradford City, we currently sit 12th in the table. After 5 games, we've got 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats, scoring 4 goals and conceding 6, which leaves us on a -2 goal difference and 7 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a draw, a win and a loss. Them last couple of matches then being a 1-1 draw away at Wrexham in the second round of the EFL Cup, winning 4-3 on penalties, a 1-0 win at home to Crewe Alexandra, a 3-0 defeat away at Morecambe, a 1-1 draw away at Stockport, and a 2-1 win at home to Colchester United. If we compare that then to Mansfield Town, they're currently sat 7th in the Sky Bet League 2 table, occupying that final playoff spot. After 5 games, they've picked up 2 wins, 3 draws and no defeats. There's only a couple teams this season who are still yet to be defeated. The other teams are Swindon Town and AFC Wimbledon. Every other team has lost at least 1 game so far this season. Mansfield have scored 11 goals and conceded 7, which leaves them on a positive 4 goal difference and 9 points. The last couple of matches then have been a win, a draw, a win and a draw. Them last couple of matches then being a 1-1 draw away at Sheffield Wednesday, again in the AFL Cup, second round, winning 5-4 on penalties, a 3-2 win at home to Stockport County, a 1-1 draw away at Grimsby Town, a 2-2 draw away at Doncaster Rovers, and a 3-0 win at home to Morecambe. Like I say, it's going to be a very, very tough game for us, and now we're going to get into the team though that I would go with if I was Mike Hughes. Now, I tried to wait as long as possible for Jamie Rayner or Simon Parker to do the press conference with Mike Hughes to find out who's injured, who's going to be available for this game, but we're pushing at nearly 3 o'clock now by the time I'm recording this, and I can't really wait much longer if I want to get this video out at a reasonable time. So we're just going to presume that everybody who was unavailable for Tuesday is still unavailable, apart from what we knew about Kevin McDonald should be fine for this game, and Andy Cook was touch and go, so he might feature in the squad. My formation for this one then, I've gone with the 3-4-3. Now, while I've been a big advocate for the 4-2-3-1 this season, when you're playing against, again, a very good team like Mansfield, we've seen against Crewe and Wrexham, who were free scoring sides, this system seems to be working at the moment to reduce in the opposition to very few chances and very few goals. You know, we've not really conceded many from open play so far this season, so I've gone with the back 3 again in that 3-4-3. In goal, I've gone with Harry Lewis. Over the last couple of games, we've seen him back to his best. I think he's been brilliant over the last few matches. He started out the season very shakily, but again on Tuesday night, some big saves. Obviously, I wasn't there on Tuesday night, so it is a little bit harder for me to comment on, but I've watched as many vlogs as possible, the extended highlights. I've watched as much footage of the game as possible to really build this team, and obviously I'm taking into account the Crewe game as well. But Lewis, I think, has been brilliant over the last couple of games. You know, made some a nice penalty save as well in that shootout, and overall he obviously has to be in between the sticks for me. It's just nice to see him back to his best. Into the back 3 then, on the right side, I've gone with Matty Platt. Mr. Consistent, always going to get a 6 or a 7 out of 10 from Matty Platt. Nothing too fancy. He's a pretty standard at League 2 centre-half, but he's very good at what he does, so he absolutely has to be in there, in my opinion. In the middle then, I've gone with Sam Stubbs. Now, what I've said so far this season is he doesn't really suit a back three. I think he looks much better in a back four. In that last 20 minutes against Crewe, when we went to a back four, I thought you saw the best of Sam Stubbs. It was a similar performance from him that we saw last season, but he's still on paper our best defender, in my opinion. He's a leader out there, so he absolutely has to be in this side, in my opinion. And on the left side, I've gone with Timmy Odesina. When you're playing against a team like Mansfield, you need some pace in there because they don't really have an Ollie Hawkins, an Ollie Palmer, these type of strikers where they're big target men. We can't have 3 slow, clunky centre-halves against strikers like Will Swan. I mean, potentially they could play Lucas Akins up front. I mean, even Jordan Bowery, but I think them two have been playing more in defence recently, especially Jordan Bowery's been playing at centre-half and right-back most recently. But I think we need some sort of pace in there for strikers like Reece Oates, Will Swan, Keeler Dunn. I know he plays more as a 10, but them sort of players who are going to look to stretch the play and make them runs, we need a bit of pace in there and someone with a bit more agility. And while you've got the physicality with Platt and Stubbs, I think Odesina will complement them very nicely. And again, Kelly wasn't the greatest against Crewe. I don't think he had the greatest game against Wrexham by all accounts either. So for me personally, I'd go with Odesina. If it is Kelly, I think we just need a bit more pace in there, in my opinion. Into the midfield then, starting out at right wing back, I've gone with Brad Halliday. I think he absolutely has to be in here. He's so much better than Oyegoke, who actually came on in holding midfield, I do believe, on Tuesday night when he did eventually come onto the pitch. But Halliday, for me, he's just so much better than Oyegoke, much better defensively, and even better going forward for me. And again, I think when you're playing against such a good team like Mansfield, you need to have your best defenders in there, and Halliday's a very, very good option to have on that right side. He's our best, in my opinion, so he absolutely has to be in this team for me. Into the 2 central midfielders then. Firstly, I've gone with Richie Smallwood. Now, I think with McDonald, he had some sort of allergic reaction, which meant that his knee swelled up really badly, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to start this one. And I think Smallwood's reacted well to being dropped against Crewe. You know, he had a good impact off the bench there. It sounds like, by all accounts, he had a decent leader performance on Tuesday against Wrexham as well, scored his penalty, and I think, obviously, the Morecambe incident was a very bad one, and, you know, he was rightly punished for that and benched against Crewe. But for me personally, I think Smallwood deserves another opportunity. Last season away at Mansfield, he scored an absolute screamer as well, and I think this is a sort of game where it's going to suit Smallwood because he's much better when you're kind of got your back against the wall and, you know, you need to win that ball back high up the pitch. And I think this is a sort of game which will suit Smallwood massively, in my opinion. And partnering him, I've gone with Alex Patterson. Now, you could potentially go with a pivot of Smallwood and McDonald and play Patterson higher up, but I've gone with Patterson in there with Smallwood. I think his energy and legs in that midfield is going to be key. Mansfield will probably play a 4-diamond-2, so he's going to need to be, you know, working hard and getting up and down that pitch. And for me personally, obviously, he's had a brilliant start to the season. It's been a little bit quiet over the last couple of games, but played the ball through for Walker to get fouled in them first couple of minutes against Wrexham, and I think, you know, he could potentially come up with another goal in this one. It's been a couple of games since his last one, so he might come up with a goal in this one, so I'm going to go with him to start in midfield alongside Smallwood. And at left wing back, I've gone with Lewis Richards. Again, by all accounts, Liam Rideout had another poor game on at Tuesday night. I watched the extended highlights, and there were a few times where he just gave the ball away in stupid areas, or he failed to stop the cross once again. And Richards, for me, from what I've seen of him, looks very good, solid defensively. I think this one will be a pretty tough test for him when, you know, when again you're playing up against the likes of these Mansfield attackers, but I think he could have a real big impact on this one because we've seen so far he's good going forward, in my opinion. So for me personally, he's our best option on that side, and I think since he's come in from Wolves, he's really grown into that role. I think he's got better and better as each game has gone by. Now, he might have potentially taken some sort of an injury against Crewe, but he was on the bench on Tuesday against Wrexham, so he should be fine for this one, so I'm going with him to start in left wing back. Into the front three then. Firstly, on the right wing, right 10 position, I've gone with Adam Wilson. Obviously made his debut on Tuesday, came on for the last 7 minutes, I think it was, plus stoppage time, and by all accounts, you know, didn't really affect the game all too much. But I think when you look at our options at the moment in that final third, I think he should get an opportunity, in my opinion. He might only be able to give us an hour, 70 minutes, something like that, but for me personally, I'd like to see him get an opportunity and see what he is all about, because I think from what we've been told of him, he's clearly a player who wants to get at defenders, and while Mansfield have got a couple of injuries at the moment, you know, they don't have their natural first choice back four. I think Wilson could certainly be a man to cause them problems, and like I say, we give him a 3-year deal, so we clearly see a player in there, and with Clark Ador probably still being out injured for this one. Harry Chapman not going to be back until October as well. I think he's the best option in there at the moment. I don't think Osadibe did enough on Tuesday, in my opinion, or missed a big chance, and by the sounds of it, didn't have a bad game, but not a good game enough to warrant a start. So I've gone with Adam Wilson on that right side. On the left side, I've gone with Jamie Walker. Obviously, they're both fairly flexible, and, you know, it's not really a wing role. It's more of like an inverted 10. So Walker, for me, again, sounded like by all accounts, he had a pretty solid game on Tuesday. You know, was closing down, was pressing very well. And again, against a team like Mansfield, we need to stop them from being able to play with the ball. And Jamie Walker's press is going to be very key for that. Scored the goal against Crewe to win us the match last Saturday as well. You know, he comes up with a lot of goals. So he doesn't really do, you know, the Alex Patterson sort of link-up play where he's constantly on the ball and looking forward and trying to create things. Walker comes up with big goals at big times, and I think this could certainly be a game for Walker to come up with a big moment, so I'm going with him to start as one of the two players behind the striker who I've gone with Tyler Smith. Now, obviously, Andy Cook was not in the squad on Tuesday against Wrexham, took a hefty whack against Crewe, was hobbling around for the last couple of minutes or so. Nigel Clough said that Mansfield are definitely going to have to score 2 because Andy Cook always scores against them. I think he's done in every game that they've played, that we've played against Mansfield since Andy Cook left Mansfield to obviously come and join us as well. But Smith, by all accounts, again, had a really good game on Tuesday. It sounded like we actually played a little bit better with Smith rather than Cook because he's a bit more athletic, a bit more energetic. And you look at the Mansfield centre-halves, I don't know too much about Brunt, but it's probably going to be Brunt and Flint who play at the back. Aidan Flint would, for me personally, keep Andy Cook very quiet because he's an absolute man-mountain of a centre-half. So if you go with someone a bit more pacey, energetic, lively to run in behind, that could cause Mansfield a lot of problems. And obviously scored a penalty and, like I say, created a couple chances as well, especially in that first half. I was quite impressed with what I saw from Tyler Smith, so I'd like to see him get another opportunity. On the bench then for me, that'd leave Colin Doyle, Luke Hendry, Kieran Kelly, Kevin McDonald, Emmanuel Osadibe, Bobby Poynton. It might be a little bit harsh that he's not in the team. I think he was very good on Tuesday after he came on at half-time for Alex Patterson. And also Andy Cook. The players who I believe to be injured at the moment are still Ash Taylor. Alex Gilliard should be back next week. Harry Chapman not back until October. Clark Adore should be back next week as well. And we don't have a timescale, I don't think, at the moment for Oviden Oliver, which means the players missing out through selection would be Heath Richardson, Daniel Ugoke, Harvey Rowe, Liam Rydalk, and Matt Derbyshire. Now then, let's get into my Game Week 6 League 2 score predictions. Before we get into them though, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get a comment as well down in the comment section down below. Starting out with Tranmere Rovers versus Wrexham AFC, I'm going to go with a 2-0 away win for Wrexham. Crewe Alexandra versus MK Dons, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Doncaster Rovers versus Swindon Town, I'm going to go with a 3-1 away win for Swindon. Grimsby Town versus Gillingham FC, I'm going to go with a 2-1 home win for Grimsby. Harrogate Town versus Barrow AFC, I'm going to go with a 2-0 away win for Barrow. Mansfield Town versus Bradford City, I'm going to go with a 3-1 defeat, unfortunately. I could also see it finishing 1-1 if Mansfield aren't that clinical in front of goal, but I do think we will lose this one at 3-1 in my opinion. Morecambe FC versus Salford City, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. Newport County versus AFC Wimbledon, I think Wimbledon are going to lose their first game of the season. I think Newport will win this one at 2-1. Notts County versus Accrington Stanley, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. Stockport County versus Crawley Town, I'm going to go with a 2-0 home win for Stockport. Now at the moment it sounds very likely Dave Challoner could be on his way to Charlton Athletic, so I'll be interested to see if that does go through, who Stockport would do replace Challoner with, because obviously he's done a very good job there since joining from Hartlepool. Sutton United versus Forest Green Rovers, I'm going to go with a 2-1 home win for Sutton. And Walsall FC versus Colchester United, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. I'm going to leave it there though for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could turn it 80 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get a comment as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know your score prediction for this match. What would your starting 11 be as well? Thank you all very much for watching and thank you all very much for the support throughout August. It is massively appreciated. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you on Saturday for the match day vlog where hopefully we've made a few signings by then. Peace.